I'm feeling really upset, teacher. I've been trying to speak English fluently, but I just can't seem to get it right. I feel like I'm not making any progress.
It's okay. Don't be too hard on yourself. Learning a new language takes time and practice. I will give you 15 days basic beginner spoken English plan. Listen everything carefully to the end and note down too.
Okay, teacher. I will listen carefully and will also take notes.
Day 1, Basics of English. English is the most widely spoken language in the world, so it's essential to have a good grasp of its fundamentals. We'll learn how to pronounce each letter correctly to lay a strong foundation for your learning. Next, we'll cover basic greetings and introductions. You'll learn how to say hello, goodbye, please, and thank you in English. These are essential phrases that you'll use every day when communicating with others. By the end of the lesson, you'll be able to introduce yourself confidently in English and engage in basic conversations. So, let's get started and make the most of your first day. Day 2, Grammar Essentials. We'll start by learning about nouns, which are words that represent people, places, things, or ideas. You'll learn how to identify nouns in sentences and use them correctly. Next, we'll cover verbs, which are words that describe actions or states of being. You'll learn about different types of verbs, such as action verbs and linking verbs, and how to use them in sentences. Lastly, we'll talk about adjectives, which are words that describe nouns. You'll learn how to use adjectives to add detail and description to your sentences. By the end of the lesson, you'll have a solid understanding of these fundamental aspects of English grammar. So, let's get started and make the most of your second day. Day 3, Building Vocabulary. Having a good vocabulary is essential for effective communication in English. We'll start by learning common words and phrases that you can use in everyday conversations. Next, we'll talk about how to use a dictionary effectively. A dictionary is a valuable tool for expanding your vocabulary and understanding new words. By the end of the lesson, you'll have a list of new words to practice and use in your conversations. So, let's get started and continue building your English skills. Day 4, Speaking Practice. Speaking is an essential part of language learning, as it helps you communicate with others effectively. We'll start by practicing basic conversational English, such as introducing yourself and asking simple questions. Next, we'll engage in role-playing exercises to simulate real-life conversations. You'll have the opportunity to practice speaking in different scenarios, such as ordering food at a restaurant or asking for directions. By the end of the lesson, you'll feel more confident speaking in English and ready to tackle more complex conversations. So, let's get started and improve your speaking skills. Day 5, Listening Skills. Listening is a crucial skill in language learning, as it helps you understand spoken English and improve your pronunciation. We'll start by discussing the importance of listening and how to improve your listening skills. Next, we'll practice listening to different accents. English is spoken in many countries around the world, and each country has its accent. You'll learn how to recognize and understand different accents to improve your listening comprehension. By the end of the lesson, you'll feel more confident in your listening abilities and ready to tackle more challenging listening tasks. So, let's get started and enhance your listening skills. Day 6, Writing Practice. Writing is an essential skill that allows you to communicate your thoughts and ideas effectively. We'll start by learning basic writing skills, such as forming sentences and paragraphs correctly. Next, we'll discuss the importance of keeping a daily journal in English. Journaling is a great way to practice writing and reflect on your learning journey. By the end of the lesson, you'll feel more confident in your writing abilities and ready to tackle more complex writing tasks. So, let's get started and improve your writing skills. Day 7, Review and Quiz. We'll review the past week's lessons and test your understanding with a quiz. We'll start by recapping the key points from each day's lesson. This review will help reinforce your learning and ensure that you've retained the information. Next, we'll move on to the quiz. The quiz will test your knowledge of the alphabet, grammar essentials, vocabulary, speaking practice, listening skills, and writing practice. By the end of the lesson, you'll have a good understanding of the topics covered in the past week and be ready to tackle the next week's lessons. So, let's get started and review what you've learned. Day 8, Intermediate Grammar. We'll start by discussing tenses, which are used to indicate the time of an action or event. You'll learn about past, present, and future tenses, and how to use them correctly in sentences. Next, we'll cover advanced sentence structures, such as complex sentences and conditional sentences. You'll learn how to create more sophisticated sentences to express your ideas more effectively. By the end of the lesson, you'll have a solid understanding of these intermediate grammar topics and be ready to tackle more advanced grammar concepts. So, let's get started and improve your grammar skills. Day 9, Idioms and Expressions. Idioms are phrases that have a figurative meaning different from the literal meaning of the words. We'll start by learning common English idioms and how to use them in sentences. Next, we'll discuss the importance of using idioms in daily conversations. Idioms add color and depth to your language and help you sound more like a native speaker. By the end of the lesson, you'll have a list of idioms to practice and use in your conversations. So, let's get started and learn some fun and useful idioms. Day 10, Pronunciation Practice. Pronunciation is an essential aspect of speaking English fluently. We'll start by discussing difficult sounds in English, such as the TH sound and the R sound. Next, we'll talk about tips for improving your pronunciation, such as listening to native speakers and practicing tongue twisters. By the end of the lesson, you'll feel more confident in your pronunciation abilities and ready to tackle more challenging sounds. So, let's get started and improve your pronunciation. Day 11, Reading Comprehension. Reading is a great way to improve your vocabulary and grammar skills. We'll start by reading short stories or articles in English. Next, we'll practice summarizing and discussing the content of the readings. This will help you understand the main ideas and improve your comprehension skills. By the end of the lesson, you'll feel more confident in your reading abilities and ready to tackle more challenging texts. So, let's get started and improve your reading comprehension. Day 12, Advanced Vocabulary. Building a strong vocabulary is essential for expressing yourself effectively in English. We'll start by learning academic and professional words that are commonly used in written and formal contexts. Next, we'll discuss how to use context clues to understand new words. Context clues are words or phrases that surround an unfamiliar word and give clues to its meaning. By the end of the lesson, you'll have a list of advanced vocabulary words to practice and use in your writing and speaking. So, let's get started and expand your vocabulary. Day 13, Advanced Writing Skills. Writing essays and formal letters is an important skill that can help you communicate effectively in professional and academic settings. We'll start by discussing the structure and format of essays and formal letters. Next, we'll talk about how to write persuasively and convincingly. You'll learn how to use language effectively to convey your ideas and opinions. By the end of the lesson, you'll feel more confident in your writing abilities and ready to tackle more complex writing tasks. So, let's get started and improve your advanced writing skills. Day 14, Public Speaking. Public speaking is a valuable skill that can help you communicate confidently and persuasively. We'll start by discussing presentation skills, such as how to organize your ideas and engage your audience. Next, we'll talk about speaking confidently in English. You'll learn how to use body language and vocal techniques to convey your message effectively. By the end of the lesson, you'll feel more confident speaking in public and ready to tackle any speaking situation. So, let's get started and improve your public speaking skills. Day 15, Final Review and Celebration. We'll start by recapping the key points from each day's lesson. This review will help reinforce your learning and ensure that you've retained the information. Next, we'll celebrate your achievements. You've come a long way in just 15 days, and you should be proud of your progress. Congratulations on completing the Learn to Speak Fluent English in 15 Days course. By the end of the lesson, you'll have a sense of accomplishment and be ready to continue your English learning journey. So, let's celebrate and look forward to even more success in the future.